Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 132. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. That's right, I'm back this week. I did take a week off after the Stone Mountain machine gun shoot, just due to all that extra traveling I had to do. But we got Chad and Tony here with us tonight. Tony was there at the shoot too, and he gave you guys a little bit of a detailing on what it was like. I did watch the last episode. You guys did a really good job. I mean, besides, I didn't think you guys would make such a big deal out of that bang box. But I was cracking up laughing because I didn't think it'd go there in a million years, but it did, and I'm proud of you for it.
And then the picture you sent us.
Oh yeah, then I found something else gratuitous that you can bolt onto your AR. That, let's just say, it looks somewhat. It's reminiscent of a part of the male anatomy, so we'll leave it at that. So it just kind of tied together. I won't bring that on the show because it's just too ridiculous for this for these professionals here that we're dealing with.
Yeah, you'll send it over to a different show.
Yeah. So yeah, back from the shoot, it was awesome. The worst news, or the bad part, was I did not get to shoot anything full auto, which breaks my heart. Because I was so busy. I mean, I wanted to make sure that I was supporting Jake, in sales, and every time somebody wanted a shirt, digging through the boxes, getting the right size, because it seems like the patrons there would kind of come to our booth in droves, and I kind of felt bad for leaving him hanging because he had put me up and fed me the whole time, so I wanted to make sure that I actually worked there and didn't just, shoot guns and whatnot. But I did get to shoot some suppressed things because at the Stone Mountain machine gun shoot, the suppressor range was right up on top of the little hill where the all the vendors were, so it was very easy to kind of break off for 15 minutes and shoot some suppressed stuff. So I'm going to be talking about some of those cans tonight, the Alpha Dog silencers. Those are pretty cool. We'll talk about those. I almost got to shoot a converted Glock 17 from one of the guys at the Alpha Dog booth. Was going to walk me down there. We got within 100 yards of the machine gun range, and then we were told that it had closed for an hour. So we went to walk back, and then, just lost track of time from there. So next year, I'll make sure that I get to shoot some full auto stuff. But I did put up a video on my personal social media of me shooting 1911 with the Alpha Dog silencer on there. And he had actually, it's funny, the guy from Alpha Dog didn't really want to shoot that one. It was kind of more of a showpiece because the barrel had just gotten in like a couple days ago, and they hadn't tried it yet. So he put the first mag through it, and then he let me put a mag through it, and then let another person there put a mag through it. So he just wanted to make sure that, nothing bad happened. It's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? It's just a suppressor. He's like, yeah, you could end up suing and owning my company. I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't do that. It'll be fine. Let's do it. So I got to shoot his 308 too, through his personal hunting rifle. And then I think I shot a 45 Glock. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I did shoot a suppressed Glock while I was there.
21.
Yeah, probably 21. So other than that, I got to meet Tony in person. He definitely holds back on this show. You are hilarious in person. It's just outrageous. That was kind of like my main reason for wanting to go. It made it all worth it getting to meet you and to meet the Sean Fisher guy that I always hear so much about.
Yeah.
He was right. His Black Bag Resources booth was kind of right across the way from our Patriot Patch booth, so I could hear him shouting, say, get a free scarf when you use the promo code Ryan's Beard, or Ryan Cross's Beard, and it's like, thanks, guy. It's hilarious. No, he's a good sport. He hooked me up with some a plate carrier and some Condor gear, which I had fun getting through TSA on the way home. he chucked a smoke grenade into our booth when we were tearing down Saturday night, and that was kind of funny.
He did?
Yeah, he did. Jake picked it up and threw it back.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was hilarious. And then Hank had bought some flashbangs while we were there, so he was kind of looking at me, and I was like, should he? Shouldn't he? Yeah, maybe not. We won't be invited back next year.
These were adults, by the way.
Yeah. It was good times. We sold a lot of shirts and patches. A lot of people were interested. I personally got in touch with some great new folk that I've never met before, and they are interested in some graphic design through Hunter of Design, my freelance business. So it's all good there. JW was there. JW Ramp. The Devin, the producer for the show, or the one that does all the post-production, he was there to help out a little bit. Obviously, Hank Hockey was there. We had some listeners show up that wanted to volunteer and help out at the FRN booth, which was awesome. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody, but it was great. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, driving with Jake for basically, he flew me into Chicago. We road tripped to PA. We stayed in Ohio overnight and then kept going to PA. And then we left Saturday night. We packed up. We didn't come back Sunday because we didn't really want to mess with the rain. And we felt like we tapped most of the people that were there. You know, everyone had a shirt or a Patriot patch on, and we didn't feel like it was going to be really worth the time. And we had gotten so many online orders that he actually wanted to race home and fulfill those orders ASAP. So he put me up at a pretty nice place by the airport in Pittsburgh, and yeah, just a whole day of flying, and I came back.
Good
so
call
that
on,
was pretty much it.
Good call on not coming out on Sunday.
Well, I kind of wish that we did go on Sunday, because I would have definitely shot something full auto then. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go to more of these things. And, you know, it was kind of more important that we kept all of our product nice and dry. I think we only had 1 or 2 shirts get a little bit of mud on them. They'll probably mail them to me. Be like, here's your free shirt.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that was pretty much the gist of it. I don't know if you talked about all the things that were there. I could hear the 37mm cannon going off. I guess a rumor was that those were $20 a shot. That definitely, the report from that just rocked the whole valley. Probably one of the loudest reports that I've ever heard, me being a civilian and never been serving or anything, but that was pretty cool to hear that. I could only imagine what being right next to it would feel like.
Oh, it was stupid. At least that's what I heard. I didn't get to see anyone on the zip line. No one even told me about the zip line, so I've been looking at their pictures, because Stone Mountain has, of course, an Instagram page like everyone else, and they, of course, has a hashtag. I haven't seen anybody doing the zip line, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it.
You know, actually, I did see a video of someone doing the zip line.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was kind of like a GoPro type thing, and they were shooting their Glock at different targets, and they kind of went over a little bit of water. I'm not sure where that was. I do know that you had to kind of register and pay for that stuff.
Okay.
So it's not like they were going to be, okay, everybody, time to go to the zip line. Like, if you already knew to be there, if you already registered for it. So.
Sure. They had some guys I met from Connecticut. There were people from all over. I think that's the cool part. People from all over the place actually made the trek out to Monroeton, PA, which is a heck of a metropolis. And they were talking about doing the 1,000-yard shoot with the 50 cal and how awesome it was. But let me say something right now. Monroeton is in the middle of nowhere in PA. If you're a fat dude named Tony who lives in Jersey, don't go there and try to eat Italian food. You'll find yourself totally disappointed in the Italian food. I'm just saying. It was Chef Boyardee. I swear it was Chef Boyardee. He's in witness protection, and he's in Towanda, PA.
I just think it was hilarious how we were at the inn. We won't name the inn, but I was waiting for you. You weren't there yet, and I think Dan from New Jersey Concealment Furniture was there at the bar. But we didn't really know who we were waiting for. I just knew that Tony was going to show up. and it only took 2 seconds to kind of quickly walk through the restaurant and see you weren't there. So I kind of told her that she's be like, oh, well, let me sit you down. And so they sent us in like the center table, a packed room with tables all over the place. And then she comes back like 15 minutes later, and she's like, I'm sorry, this is really embarrassing, but are you waiting for a large black man, bald? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, I'm going to have to move you guys, to a booth in the corner so it'd be kind of more efficient for, people trying to get around the tables and whatnot. And she was just mortified, and it was hilarious.
I'm used to that happening, but it was funny. The reason you had to wait was because we just left that restaurant. They told me about it. I wanted to do a drive-by to make sure it was where they said it was. I get back to the hotel, and they're like, hey, we're going to eat. I'm like, where you at? Oh, great. All right, we'll be there in a few minutes.
Oh, man. Yeah. Good times. I'm sure next year, as far as the shoot goes, I want to really thank the Shooters Gauntlet and the law group that helped put it on, because I'm sure next year a lot of the kinks that they encountered this year will be worked out and thought about ahead of time. The mud was obviously a big issue. If you follow the hashtag at all, I'm sure you're going to see everyone's muddy boots. But really, it was almost like a second thought after you got into it, because you just kind of shift your way around and not get your feet cemented into the mud. And then they did bring in straw and gravel to help mitigate that, but it was kind of too late for the vendors like Patriot Patch Co. that showed up there early on Saturday to get set up. We were kind of stuck in the mud. There's no way around it. But yeah, it was awesome. I look forward to next year. I was kind of bummed because next year it was going to be, I think, May 20th and 21st, and that's when I'm getting married. So I told Jake, I was like, oh, it looks like I won't be able to make it. And then I guess they just announced that because there's other industry things going on, probably NRA show at the same time, yep. They moved it to June 3rd and 4th. So I was kind of like, ask my fiance, hey, you want to go to Monroton, PA for a honeymoon? Wouldn't that be fun? So we can get a nice B&B.
Why do I hear Deliverance music in my head?
I tell you one thing, Monroton and the area around it is beautiful. It is really nice. A lot of mountains. They have actually what they call Pennsylvania's Grand Canyon is a tourist attraction in that area.
So it's what, like 4 feet deep?
I don't know. I think the Amish people get liquored up and jump it with their cart carriages.
No, that's not bad. I just remembered when I was name dropping off the people that I'm glad I got to meet. I met Whitey before at SHOT Show, but Whitey was there from Four Guys, and then John Patton, the man from the Gun Collective, he was there. So it was great to meet John finally in person. So, yep, I think that's all the names I get to drop. But speaking of Patriot Patch Co., bandwidth sponsor for the podcast, want to get through the announcements here. I wanted to try and start making these shows shorter because I've gotten a couple complaints that, man, your shows are like almost 2 hours long or an hour and a half long. And, that's we kind of get to rambling and bantering back and forth, and it eats up time. So, actually, Jake, on our conversation coming over the States, he was saying that I should probably try and just wean it down a little bit more, maybe only do 3 products or 2 products, and try and cut down. So I think I'm going to axe the tech, gadget, or app segment. I know I haven't been really filling that consistently every week, but I think I'm just going to roll that in. I'll just keep my eye out for something techy and then roll it into the product spotlight. So I think we're going to at least shorten it down to 2 or 3 items per episode to talk about until we can just really condense everything down. So besides that, back to Patriot Patch Co. We got some shirts and some patches that we've added. I don't know if I've talked about them before, so they're not necessarily new. We get the Sci-Fi 2-patch bundle with the Firefly-themed patches, I Aim to Misbehave, and I Am a Leaf on the Wind, Watch Me Soar. And we also have the Don't Keep Calm, Just Kill Them All patch. We do have all the other ones in stock right now. The ORMD ammo can, which I finally got to take a look at one of those in person, and they did a really good job. the It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Take This, black with the AUG on top of it, as well as the Firearms Radio patches, which came out really good as well. And then also in the shirts, we added some shirts. We've got the Freedom switches, where it's Safe Fire Freedom, the Select Fire, or safety switch from the AR-15. We have that in both Freedom instead of full auto, and then we also have a I'm Your Huckleberry version available for pre-order, as well as the Banana Mag t-shirt with 3 AK-47 magazines on a yellow shirt. All that's available on our website, patriotpatch.co. Also, the Gun Collective bundle is still available. No longer can you get the individual pieces of that separately. So if you want the Guntrepreneur shirt, patch, the Gun Collective t-shirt, as well as a mystery Patriot patch from our existing collection, you can get that bundle for $55. So that's on our website, patriotpatch.co/TGC. And then, speaking of TGC, not really affiliated with Patriot Patch Co., but John just put on a giveaway for the Archetype ammunition displays by Ballistic Concepts. So if you go to his new website, theguncollective.com, it's got a picture of what these displays look like. They're really awesome. So he's got 3 displays. One's a 37 millimeter, and the other 2 are 50 BMGs. They're basically just the casings, and it kind of shows like an exploded view. You know, the primer is kind of suspended in the back, and it's got this fake gunpowder kind of pluming out from it, and then it shows the projectile leaving the case mouth. They're really awesome ammunition displays, and he's giving 3 away. So all you got to do is like both of those Facebook pages, as well as subscribe to his YouTube channel. If you already like those pages and are subscribed to his channel, you're covered. And then use the entry form. So that's going to be going on, I think this month, starting on the 9th and ends on the 29th of this month. So make sure you guys go to theguncollective.com to enter that if you're interested. And let's see what else. I'm going to be changing the format of this contest that I have. So don't worry if you've already done an iTunes review. It's all good. That still counts. We actually got a lot of reviews at the very tail end of April there, and I'm really happy about that. I'll read them when it comes down to the listener feedback section of the podcast. But Jake was kind of telling me that he wants more listener participation on the Firearms Insider website rather than iTunes reviews, because this podcast has gotten pretty glowing reviews and lots of 5-star ratings, and it was kind of more important in the past, but now he'd rather see you guys go on the websites and comment and interact so that we can, reply to your questions and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to give away patches to the people that have left an iTunes review. I've already selected 2 random winners, and I will announce them right now. So for the month of April, Matthew Dropco and Jeff Haddocks, those are the 2 winners. So if they would email me gungearreview@gmail.com or send the Firearms Insider a Facebook message, give me your address, and I'll send you a Patriot Patch swag pack. But from on now, I'd like you guys to go on to either the Firearms Insider website, firearmsinsider.tv, and comment on one of our reviews. Or go to the Firearms Radio Network website, firearmsradio.tv, and comment on the current show notes for that week, and those get posted on Fridays. So sorry to change that up on you. I promise I'm going to stick to my word and get you guys out some patches, those 2 that I won for April. But for May and onward, I'd like people to be more interactive on those 2 websites, just so we can keep them up, because there's more interaction. That's that. The only other announcement is the listener meetup at the NRA show, which is going to be Saturday, May 21st at 7 p.m. at the Cardinal Hall of Fame Cafe. I will be there. A lot of your favorite FRN podcasters will be there. If you can say ambidextrous, as well as Jake, he'll buy you your first drink. So yeah, you can meet us there for that. And them's the announcements. And now we're going to get into the main product spotlight. It's going to be the Alpha Dog silencer. So these are unique to the silencer industry, and I've seen pictures of them before. I'm sure you guys have too. And at first I thought it was kind of gimmicky because if you put Picatinny rail on something that previously did not have Picatinny rail on it, I automatically kind of write it off as just a tactical gimmick to sucker in mall ninjas, like a muzzle brake that's got Picatinny rail, 1913 on all four sides, or you can name it. I mean, anything you can slap Picatinny on just to try and sell it to the tactical crowd. Kind of, it kind of like gets blurred in my vision. But actually getting to use these and ask them about their advancements and whatnot, these are actually pretty cool. Having rail on a suppressor makes sense and works. So these suppressors, they actually index every 5 degrees, so you can index the can to have the rail on the top or the bottom, or left or right side. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But basically, you can have the rail on the top, and you can put your red dot sight on the can and move it around. Not only that, but if you don't use the red dot sight on top of the rail, they have built-in iron sights. Now this, to me, makes a whole lot of sense, because instead of having to upgrade your factory sights on your pistol to be taller suppressor height sights, so you can get a sight picture over the can because it blocks your view because of its overall diameter. Having sights on the suppressor is really useful for getting that fast target acquisition. Two, I mean, if you wanted to flip it upside down so the rail's on the bottom, you can put your lights or your flashlight on it. Yes, it does add weight, but some people don't like having the shadow that the suppressor casts when you have a light underneath mounted onto your accessory rail on your pistol. You could certainly put anything you want underneath there. I don't know if you'd bother with a vertical foregrip or whatnot, but having the option to have your red dot onto your suppressor, you can take it on, put it off, keep it zeroed, on that suppressor. It's actually kind of handy. So have you guys got to take a look at these? I know Tony was there, but you didn't get to shoot any of these?
Yeah, the way they were, the way they had their table, I saw Yankee Hill Machine, and I got to shoot a lot of their stuff. And then I went and spoke to some people, and then I came back from the other direction and ran into the Silencer Co. So I shot some of their stuff. Then I went over to the Firearms Radio Network booth and ran into Liberty Suppressors, so I shot his stuff. So by the time I saw Alpha Dog, I was leaving.
Yeah. It was kind of the way they had it set up. There wasn't like a clear division between whose booth was whose. I mean, all the silencer guys were like grouped together under the same tents that they went in on together in case it rained.
So, Ryan?
Yeah.
On the sights, since you've actually shot this, and I've seen pictures of you shooting it, on the sights that are built in, is it just like a trough, or is it like a actual rear sight and an actual front sight? It's
a trough.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's not like dovetailed where you put sights in. I was asking them. I was, I'm such a good little student. I was trying to get ahead of the class. Be like, well, can you put like movable sights on this, or have you thought about tritium inserts? And he basically said, they don't want any moving complicated sights as far as moving sights or dovetailed in. They just kind of trough it out, and then they basically painted the dots into the where the sights are machined onto that can. But they're working on tritium inserts so that you can at least get some night sights on your can. Because obviously, you've got a can, you want to shoot at night, you've got your red dot, or not, you've got your flashlight. It'd be nice to have that. So good question. I did ask that. Basically, what their answer was, because obviously we were shooting at like 50 yards. Wouldn't you say, Tony, that it was about 50 yards?
Yeah, it was 50 yards.
So that's a little difficult to do with like a 1911. You're shooting 45 ACP with the suppressor. we basically had to aim 8 to 10 inches high of the target, and it was kind of hard to tell. I did hit some targets, but it seemed like it'd go left or right either way, and I couldn't tell if it was really me or blame it on the mud. I don't know, but when I asked them about movable sights for getting it zeroed, they were basically like, well, when you're shooting a pistol, you're not really zeroing in at 50 or 100 yards. You're usually engaging much closer, if not point shooting. So they kind of kiboshed that. But at least the idea of putting night sights on there was something they were already working on. I don't know about if they want to do one with double rail, top and bottom, so you could run a red dot sight as well as a flashlight or laser underneath. It just looks like the single for now. And the end of the suppressor also has a little bit of what they call it. It's kind of like it's almost like a standoff device. It's got some knurls in it, so that it's not completely flat on the front. And then they usually run their cans wet, and they have a proprietary product that they call, was it dog slobber?
Dog slobber, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It's just kind of like a clear gel that you put in there, and it's not supposed to burn off as quickly as other more liquid suppressor products.
So
go ahead.
Dog slobber is just their name for KY jelly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
No, a lot of people actually use that stuff in suppressors. That's why I ask.
Okay, 50 Shades of Chad.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Chad. Awesome. Oh my gosh. See what I'm telling you? This guy's hilarious. Obviously, the big advantage if you have a gun like a government model 1911 or a Beretta or maybe one of the first generation Glocks that do not have an accessory rail for that light. If you index this thing with the light at the 6 o'clock or the rail at the 6 o'clock position, you can then run a light or laser without having to modify or put any of those different grips on your gun that allow you to attach to the light. So that's kind of cool too. As far as the baffles go, they use what they call the K9 baffle design. It's kind of the proprietary V-shaped monocore baffle, which channels the gases and sound waves away from the bullet trajectory in the oversized lower chamber. That end cap I was talking about, they just call it the rugged end cap. So they torture tested it. It's supposed to absorb impact if your suppressor's accidentally dropped on the front. It also gives a little bit of a heat dispersion advantage to it as well on the end. And then obviously as a thrusting tool, if you need to, we talked about KY and then thrusting, if you need to use it as an impact device for some reason. So the suppressor body itself just is a little bit larger the way it's shaped to increase the interior volume. For obviously the more volume you have inside the suppressor, the more efficient it is at dissipating some of those gases in the chambers. It's got an index washer on the inside to let you adjust it in 12 possible positions around the axis of the barrel. And it has a booster inside of it, much like the ASAP. If you're familiar with AAC suppressors, it's got kind of a booster inside there. Pretty standard on pistol cans, was the booster spring. Yep, I think overall I really like the design. You guys have to check out their website. The MSRP is $775, which it's a little high for a rifle can, but something that's this proprietary, I kind of expect it to be a lot higher. So it looks like... What's that?
You left out the favorite part that Chad is probably going to tell you about. Number 9 is the rugged rear cap to go with the dog slobber KY.
Okay, I was going to ask a real question.
I'm sorry.
Does it come apart for cleaning?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
You can. So there's like a Alpha Dog speed tool that you use to disassemble, and you can just pull that monocore right out the back.
I kind of figured that's kind of what it looked like, but I didn't see anywhere on here that it said it.
Yeah,
so.
I took some pictures at the range of the monocore setup that they had, kind of a little display. So yeah, you look like you can definitely pull it out to use it. So as far as the average decibel reduction, where did I see that?
I think it's 124.
124.
That's dry. And then it's 122 and a half dry or max. Wet average was 122 decibels, and wet max was 121. And all those were tested on a SIG P239 with Remington 147 grain ammo.
Yep.
Alpha Dog was really cool. People don't understand. I had never shot anything suppressed before, and I learned a lot about it. I wasn't aware that it was that difficult sometimes to aim, because I feel I shoot pretty well, and I was having a problem for a while hitting stuff because sometimes things would shift. Alpha Dog even had, horror of horrors, a baffle strike on one of their silencers. They actually posted it and said it was bad ammo that caused it to happen, and no one got hurt, anything like that. But, they pulled that, of course, suppressor off the line. But go to something like this if you ever want to shoot something suppressed, the machine gun shooting. You'll see cool companies like this that are they're really nice people, right? Ryan?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it was mostly because of my time and who I spent time with at the booth, but they were super generous with ammo. I mean, they never asked me to pay for any ammo. I got to shoot the guy's personal hunting rifle with the 308 can on there. That he was like, "Hey, you want to shoot this?" And we talked about his load development and compared loads. And Jesus, I walked into that one. Yeah, they were really accommodating. Super nice guys.
Yeah, and I think, I say it all the time about the industry and about how friendly gun owners are and everything, but really to come to something like this with this many people and you're able to shoot suppressed firearms belonging to other people. How many hundreds of dollars worth of tax stamps were laying on those tables?
Right.
Even though it comes from manufacturers, but it's just crazy. And everyone was so generous. Everyone was really cool. Safety personnel was out there, so the number of idiots were not really. I didn't see anyone doing anything really stupid.
Yeah, I only saw pictures of one idiot.
He
was holding some short-barreled shotgun. It was gray.
Don't know what you're talking about. So it was really a great event. And shooting these cans was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from them all. I think the Alpha Rail was pretty cool because you could put a red dot on it or even extend your sight. It was all interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, I'm waiting to pull the. I don't know if I'll be able to pull the trigger on a new Lone Wolf Glock 19, but I'm looking to have it, cut for the red dot sight and suppressor height sights added. And this product eliminates having to go through all the extra cost and labor of having that done to a gun or done to a slide. Because you only need the suppressor height sights when you're using it suppressed. If you don't have the suppressor on, the sights can be they're taller for no reason. So you could forego the hundreds of dollars it takes to upgrade your sights and to machine your slide for a red dot.
True.
If you just go with this as your pistol can.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of these the slide, or what do you call that? The retainer that you attach the red dot to, they only have them for 3 of them, right? They got them for the Delta Point,
the Trijicon, RMR, and maybe the Fastfire.
Yeah, the Barris Fastfire. That's it. Well, with this pick rail on it, you can just put any red dot on. You know what I mean? So you can put the Vortex red dot on, and it's still a decent optic, and you didn't break the bank on it.
You could put an aim point, or not aim point, not the good. What's the
NC
cheaper?
Star.
Yeah, you can put any of that on there if you want to. We don't recommend you cheap out on optics, but it would be. If I didn't already get a 9mm can that at a good price, like this would be what I'd be going to, and I probably would have not sold my Glock 19 that had just stock sights on it, because this would have been the answer to what I was going for.
No. See, the only problem with this can is it's not full auto rated.
Well, not all of us have full auto pistols.
Well,
so.
You never know. You might win the lottery and want one someday.
I think if you win the lottery, you could probably buy another suppressor. I'm just throwing it out there, bro. I win the lottery.
You guys would never see or hear from me again. So.
Thank God. I hope he wins the lottery.
so you can send scratch-off tickets too. Right now they have the Alpha 9. Obviously, they have the Alpha 45 in development. So if you want to check this out, alphadogsilencers.com is the website for that. Moving on, this next one, obviously we've already talked about the Ruger precision rifle in depth before. Amazing precision rifle for the money. But now Ruger came out with an enhanced version, which looks to be like an extra $100 more. So the enhancements that they've done is they've put a short action handguard for improved scope clearance and long range scopes, meaning that they took the rail off the top of the handguard, the 12 o'clock rail, so that's smooth. It's still tapped for screws, so you can add lengths of rail if you want, like something on the front of it. But basically, by taking off that rail, you can have a larger diameter bell on your scope, or you can mount your scope using lower rings, like a 50 mil bell, or larger if you're a Night Force fan, and medium-sized rings, or I don't know what the right size, mediums or talls, but anyway, that helps to facilitate that, and that also reduces a lot of weight too, as far as ounces are concerned. So that's the first improvement. Second is the hybrid muzzle brake that they put on there to reduce recoil while minimizing noise and blast to the sides of the shooter. I doubt that it minimizes noise.
Yeah, I was thinking the
it's
same
a muzzle
thing.
brake.
How does that even make sense?
No,
How does that make sense?
It'll do the opposite, I promise you. Or else it's not a good brake if it does not increase noise. So thread protector is included. The third improvement would be a bolt shroud manufactured from 6061 T6 billet aluminum and finished with a hard coat anodizing for strength and durability. The bolt shroud that contains the tools and stuff for getting into the goods and the guts. It's contained within the bolt. They basically just made that out of aluminum. Was it plastic last time? I don't remember. It's been a while.
I think so.
It was plastic.
I've only touched like 3 of these at Cabela's while I was there. So, but you can buy all 3 of these if you already have the standard or the regular precision rifle. Those 3 improvements are available on the Ruger store on their website. I would say that they should have switched to M-Lock instead of Keymod for an enhanced version.
Well, yeah, but don't those take standard AR rails? Isn't that one of their pluses?
Yeah.
I mean, you could swap that out yourself.
Forearms,
but I mean,
so yeah.
If you want to enhance from the existing, switch up to the better
M-Lock
is what I'm saying.
I'm like, who are these people doubling down on Betamax? I mean, seriously, look, it's M-Lock. M-Lock is the thing that everybody wants, not Keymod. Let it go. You lost.
So I just want to let you guys know that's available. MSRP is $1,599 as opposed to $1,499. Probably still street price around $12 to $13, depending on what dealer you got it from.
Right.
So,
looks like.
I got a question. It looks like they lost one of the calibers. Wasn't it in 243 also?
Yeah, I was gonna say the enhanced doesn't look like it comes in 243.
I doubt that. I think that might just be a over. Just say 308. And obviously they wouldn't ditch the 6.5.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure. That's a good. I'm glad you noticed that. Way to keep your eyes open, because we're not seeing the 243 with the new little graphic next to it. So maybe the sales for 243 just weren't high enough to. But obviously, if you have the 243, you just buy whatever those improvements are from the site and swap them out yourself.
Sadly, they said they're pretty much when the original run out, they're not renewing them. So it seems like 243 might be the rare Ruger precision rifle.
And I mean, 6mm is no slouch. I mean, that still, is a hot contender when you're shooting, actual competitions. I mean, obviously 6.5 Creedmoor is the cat's pajamas still, but 243 is no slouch. Certainly better than 308 when it comes to just flatter shooting and not having to adjust for as much dope.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, hey, every now and again you get to make a call of something that's not going to be around and probably worth more after you get it than before, and it might be the 243 Ruger Precision Rifle. Just saying.
Yeah.
Shoot the snot out of it and sell it 10 years from now, and it's rare.
There you go. But if I still lived where I used to live in Eastern Washington, where I had the range to use this kind of stuff, I probably would really try harder to get one, but it's not really on my list of priorities right now.
So, Tony, I don't know if I missed it, but being that that's a threaded muzzle brake, is that...
Bolt action, I'm cool.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's a muzzle device, so I'd be fine. It's not a flash suppressor.
Oh, that's right.
It's the most ridiculous stuff you have to be aware of, but hey, you have to be aware of it.
Yep.
Cool. So we got that, and then the other product we're going to mention this week is the Gunbox Sentinel. Gunbox is the manufacturer, Sentinel is the product. It's a very modern and more of a it's meant to look good in plain sight, and it's basically a vault for your long gun, your carbine, your shotgun. It is right now on Indiegogo, so it is kind of a crowdfunding type of product, unfortunately. But it has a lot of cool high-tech features. So their goal was $25,000, and they've already exceeded that. They're now at 169% of that goal with 89 backers. There's only, as I'm reading this, 18 days left in their campaign. So they have a couple different price points for you to contribute and get like a sticker or a label and whatnot. I won't go into those. If you're interested, you can go to the link for their Indiegogo campaign and look at what it's going to cost you to get in on it. Basically, if you want the gun box, you're going to pitch in $489 plus shipping to get it. But basically, this lets you store your tactical rifle or defensive shotgun in plain sight, and it has Bluetooth speakers so that people aren't like, what's that weird, like, tall blade thing you got in the corner of your living room? You can just be like, oh, relax, it's just my speakers, and then, you can play your iTunes or your Spotify or whatever. So it's the world's first tactical Bluetooth speaker stand. It unlocks using a biometric fingerprint or an RFID card or using the Bluetooth app. It's secured by, it has screw holes that you can bolt it down to the floor. I know Tony's a big fan of bolting it to the floor. And it also has a motion alarm where if someone tries to move it or just pick it up and walk it out of the house because you didn't want to bolt it to the floor of your rental, I think it'll alert you via the app that it's being moved or it's being tampered with. So at a glance, some of the specs, it's got a hydraulic opening, so it's kind of like a big clam. Honestly, it's like a clamshell. So when you scan it or use your finger or use the app, it opens. The two halves open like a clam, like a horseshoe clam, and then you can then access the inside for your firearm, and then it's got accessory panels for you to hang your ammo or mags or whatnot. So then the colors comes in 5 different colors: carbon black, gunsmoke, billet gray, arctic white, and bond black. The speakers there's two 50-watt stereo speakers. The material is 3.5 millimeter pressure formed aluminum. It weighs 35 pounds unloaded or not filled, empty. The interior dimensions are 39 inches by 10 inches by 3.5 inches. So inside it's only 3.5 inches wide. So don't be thinking you're going to put your tactical double barrel with flashlights and your EOTech and all that junk hanging off the side. But still, that should be a fair amount of internal space. Externally, it's just between 1 and 3 inches tall, bigger than those dimensions I already read you. Overall height is 43.5 inches. The base dimensions that it kind of sits on a pedestal or a little base. It's an oval, and that is 20 inches by 12 inches. It's got a rechargeable battery, good for 1 year, and a limited warranty of 1 year. So they kind of list what you get, the perks, the storage accessories, the RFID ring. You can wear a power ring to open it. You can have a little sticker label to put on your key fob or whatever you want. There's an RFID card. All those things to kind of list out how much those things cost, and you can get them all when all these different packages they have. You can get a 5-pack to just completely outfit your home with 5 of these things for $2,272, which basically the 5-pack, it saves you $35 or 35%. Let's see. There's key fobs. There's the charging cable. I think that's about it. So they're scheduled to fulfill and ship basically pre-orders or these campaign supporters September 16th of this year. I'm sorry, no, September of 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. They make other products, the Gunbox 2.0, the Echo. So they've got products already out there on the market. They are a kind of known and have a reputation built up already of out-of-the-box thinking, safe design. And with that, I'll let you guys weigh in. What do you think?
I'll go with, I kind of like the idea. I mean, design it as a speaker so 99% of the people that see it are like, oh, that's kind of a cool speaker, not knowing that you got a shotgun or something in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks nice. I mean, it's not going to fit anywhere in my house, but that's to each their own. But you can play music on it, so, at least it's doing something besides just storing your gun. I mean, you can play your Metallica or something while you're,
Yeah, I don't know if I listened to dubstep with like an SKS in there.
Fire.
That floating firing pin. The beat drops, bang.
No, with the floating firing pin, it goes full auto.
So
yeah.
Bang, 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 bang.
My take on it, I've gone through, I'm looking at their website actually, and I'm trying to find out a couple of things. All right, biometric reader, how many fingerprints does it hold? I mean, it's just specific stuff that you look for if you're in the market for this. The reason I say it is, it's not that I need 30 people, it's different hand positions and different fingers. You know what I mean? So if I'm bleeding, if I'm holding blood, if I have blood, mud, whatever on my hand, and I choose to use my pinky finger on my left hand, will it recognize that? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. Another thing is it's a hidden gun safe. Well, you had it to make it look like something somebody's going to steal. They'll steal your dang Bluetooth speakers, dude. Congratulations. So they got your Bluetooth speakers and your gun. Congratulations. But it's pretty cool, but I'm just saying you just disguise it as something someone wants to take out of your house anyway.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm still cool with it, but let's be real. And then who mounts their speaker to the floor? So it's suspicion. Just
Wow, that's... Well, I mean, I guess that's valid points.
I'm a locksmith and I install safes, bro.
Yeah, you have some way in this conversation for sure.
But I still think it's a cool idea. I think it looks good for the price, which is what, again, if you get in on it now, is like $700. I mean, it's still a lockbox. I wonder how secure it is. One of the things, no one's going to crack it open and try to steal it. You know what I mean? Because they don't know what it is. But how secure is it really? Or is it just another lockbox.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see somebody actually like trying to break into it, like a torture test.
Yeah, because
Well,
I'm looking at the rear hinges with the door open. I can't get the picture any bigger, but I'm like, that doesn't look like a lot. And how does it secure?
well, I'm looking at it, thinking, okay, so it's 3.5 millimeter aluminum is what it says.
Yeah, I can punch through that with my knife.
Well, maybe not,
Dude,
but at least a hacksaw.
with your cold steel Tanto,
Yep.
yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, you just cut the top off, and now you got a gun. Other than that, I like it. I mean, but I think the New Jersey concealment furniture might be a little, better hidden.
For the price, I really think you could probably do a better job because it can be it can be a lot of different things if you go to their website and check it out. And no one's going to try to break your floating shelf to see if there's something in it. You know what I mean? Or if they go through your corner hutch, they're going to they're going to look at the stuff inside, not figure out whether the walls slide in and out.
Right.
I'm just looking at the price. And again, you made it look like something people steal when they're trying to do a dash and grab in a home. They'll take the scooters.
Well, I mean, obviously, they'd love to sell this to every single gun owner in America, but that's kind of its only real saving thing is that if it stays, they have this Indiegogo thing and it sells. I mean, this has been popping up on my Facebook feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. If everyone knows what this is, and you walk into someone's home and you're, a criminal or you're not supposed to be there, you know what it is. So if they achieve too much market presence, that kind of ruins the whole thing of, oh, this hides your gun in plain sight.
No, it's like it becomes the fanny pack of your living room.
Yeah.
Well, I have a better idea, and maybe I should just patent it now or say, yeah, I get rights to this if nobody makes it. The like car carriers that go in your car for like skis or luggage or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like. Just make a bigger one so you can, lock all your guns up there while you're driving around. Instead of in the car, they're out of view that way.
Or leave it like that and leave it in the garage. No one's going to steal one of those.
Especially when you put it on your Volvo or something.
Yeah, just leave it sitting in the corner going, oh, that's just a car carrier. And they'll walk around it.
Well,
okay.
So that's that. If you guys want to check it out, get the link in the show notes. It's definitely interesting. I appreciate what they're doing as far as trying to make a safe that's just aesthetically pleasing and can be part of the household. But I think if you had a welder and could fabricate, you could make something like this in your home too. It wouldn't look as nice, but I mean, it's not that hard to put speakers on the inside of a panel. The whole Bluetooth thing is beyond my understanding, but is it hackable? Like, if it's Bluetooth, can't somebody figure it out and then open your safe?
I think.
Well, again, they have to know. Yeah, that's my thing. They have to know it's a safe, and I really do say this. One of the cool things about having a safe that's hidden in plain sight is telling all your friends about the safe you have hidden in plain sight. People kind of blow that off, but yeah, one of the cool parts about it is letting people know you have it. So yeah, now all of a sudden they know it's in the room, they can hack it or try to hack it.
Yeah. I usually don't say things about stuff like that.
Some people do, bro.
I know.
Come look at my secret thing.
My secret thing.
This will be perfect for your bat cave at home.
That's right.
So moving on, that's the products. Now we're going to let Chad regale us with another gear review. And I'm actually excited to hear about this one.
Because while you were away playing with machine guns, I was stuck here writing reviews.
That's why we keep you on the payroll.
Yeah, I get paid a lot, too.
That's right.
Well, today I have the Modular Driven Technologies chassis. It's their LSS XL. And what it is they made an LSS one, which basically is this one's a little different. It's got a longer forearm and a shorter, I guess, receiver where you mount the stock. So that's the difference between that. But they also sent me, because they're so nice, to review. You have the chassis, which everybody kind of knows what a chassis is. It's a stock that mounts your action super strong. They sent me one of their magazines, which I'll talk about, and they sent me their lightweight stock, which is pretty cool. So we'll get to the review. The chassis is all aluminum, which kind of pretty much most of them are. You can use various AR parts. You can use the pistol grips. And back here where their stock bolts, it has standard receiver threads, so you can put a regular AR tube or any of the AR stocks in there and then mount them to it, which is kind of cool. I had a regular AR stock on there for a little while, but none of the pictures show it. So there's that. You can't use AR pistol grips that have the little beaver tail, kind of like the Magpul ones do, because of the way their stock mounts. You can kind of see it here. I don't know. It's just kind of right here, so you can't do that. The one they sent me was for a Savage short action. They are kind enough to make their chassis, the XL chassis, for the Remington 700, of course, in short and long actions, Savage short and long actions, Tikka short and long actions, Howa short and long 1500 short and long actions, the Winchester 70 in a short action, and the Mossberg MVP in 308. So, a lot more choices than a lot of your chassis companies that just give you like a Remington and maybe a Tikka. And so, next on the list is they state that this thing is 1.8 to 2.1 pounds. Well, the scale I had, for some reason, does not work anymore. So I decided that I would take their word for it. By itself, it's not heavy. So, one of the first things I did notice when I picked it up after I unboxed it was the nifty, good size paddle mag release it has. I don't know if you can see, for the magazine, which, it's just your standard kind of magazine. And it uses Accuracy International, their AICS compatible magazines, which theirs is. And theirs happens to be a polymer 8-round. Why 8 rounds, I don't know. I actually was able to stick 9 rounds in it and had it work fine. So there's that. There's the long forearm. It's flat on the bottom. It came with the swivel stud installed so that you can mount a bipod or a sling if you want. It's kind of rectangular. I don't know if you can actually kind of see it in the video or not. It's got cutouts for weight. It's kind of short, flat on the side, flat on the bottom, and it also has mounting holes for Magpul, their L3 or L5 rails. So if you want to put something on, you can just mount them up and bolt whatever you would like on it. And then I will kind of jump ahead. The stock also has places for that same rail. So you can mount like a monopod back here on the back of the stock. And so that's kind of nice too. The stock actually has a little hook to it. So you can hook it, if you wanted to hook it somewhere for some support, that could help. Now back to the chassis. This particular one is, like I said, for a Savage. And if you know anything about Savage short actions, I don't know about the long, but they mount using 2 screws. but the older ones have a shorter distance by, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch or some weird number. Well, they got around this. They gave you a thick, flat, oblong washer up here in the front. So depending on which rifle you have, you turn it around and you can use the old ones or the new ones. And also the new Savage rifles have a what they call a bottom bolt release, and it's on the trigger guard. And so on this, they cut a slot in the side so that if you want to release the bolt, you can stick a screwdriver or something in there. I made a little tool that you just slide in there, and then you can move it back and drop the bolt. See, it's out. And I actually made it so it screws into one of these mounting holes on the gun itself, which you can see here. The other nice thing is the trigger guard is good width, good spacing, because you can fit it with gloves. I mean, you're not going to have any trouble. So that's a nice function. It will free float barrels up to 1 inch in diameter. So if you're using it for a big, heavy barreled, action or something, it'll do that. One of the big advantages that I found is that it accepts the AICS style magazines, like the one they sent me. Theirs is an 8-round. It says 308. Mine's a 243, but basically 308, 243, 22, 250 is 6.5 Creedmoor is what fits in the 308 magazine. They also make, if you order the one in 223, they make one for that size rifle. The magazine functioned flawlessly for me. Since it is compatible with these magazines, I purchased one of the Magpul 5-round ones, and it didn't want to lock in place at first, and then of course I looked at it. Of course I didn't grab it, of course. But what it is if you look, the front of the magazine on a Magpul is higher right along the front edge, not where the feed lips are, but just higher. And so all I had to do was pretty much just take a knife and kind of whittle it down on the Magpul mag, and then it worked, functioned flawlessly also. Basically, I made it look like the MDT magazine, which is the modular driven technologies. So now on to the actual stock that they sent to go with the chassis. It's their skeleton rifle stock light. They call it the SRS light. And it's actually a nice stock. Good cheek weld, little piece, adjustable butt pad, adjustable cheek piece. It's not infinitely adjustable. It has little notches in it, so you can, that's basically your adjustments. But it does have these big buttons, which you push the button, then you can slide it in, or push this big button, slide it out. Same with on the cheek riser. It has this huge button down here that you can push and slide up or down. And I already explained that it has places for the rails. It has places for quick swivel disconnects on both sides. It mounts up just with this little bolt. Even though it's threaded for a receiver with AR receiver tube, they also thread it for the bolt to go in there, which is another nice function. The only problem I had with the stock is, even fully extended, it's a little short for me. It fits my son quite nicely. And the way my scope is, the riser's pretty much all the way down. But the biggest problem I had with the stock was, once I installed it, and I will show you here in a second, you can't clean the rifle from the rear. Because what happens is it has this little bump that comes up, and it comes up enough that your cleaning rod has to bend ever so slightly when it goes through. That's pretty much it. And if you're using like a standard AR stock receiver tube or anything, it just runs straight. I can see why they did this, but it's kind of a pain because I went to clean it. I'm like, oh man, I got to remove this or clean it from the muzzle, and that's not going to happen. So let's see if I missed anything on this review here. Pretty much that about covered it. Basically, I can say it's really nice, and I'm really, not going to like the fact that I actually have to probably send it back to them. So we will go through the Firearms Insider 8 key points. Claim to fame, it's a lightweight chassis system, uses AR parts. That pretty much covers it. It gives you better accuracy due to the way it mounts the receiver. Target market, precision rifle shooters, varmint hunters, or somebody wanting a lightweight, stable shooting platform. Regular hunters might like it. It's really anybody who wants something like this. Features and benefits. These are kind of combined between the stock and the chassis. It's a drop-in chassis. It's all aluminum. They Cerakote it. This one's black, if you've noticed. It improves accuracy because, one, it's free-floated and it mounts the chassis with these little flat spots. Free floats barrels up to 1 inch diameter, weighs about 2 pounds. It uses AR-15 stocks pistol grips. There is no bedding needed with their design. It uses the AICS magazines. Their SRS light stock is adjustable for length of pull and cheek weld. You can also get it in flat dark earth, which, of course, everybody wants flat dark earth. What other peoples are saying, pretty much the only place I could find these was their site, so that's where the links are. Great chassis for Savage long action. LSS XL for Savage long action. This is a great chassis system. Form, fit, and function, all very nice. The chassis is very light, so for the heavy recoiling calibers, it is something to consider. The machining is done very well, cuts are precise, and the finish is very uniform and professional. My rifle is sub-MOA with the chassis, and I think it will drastically improve as I get more comfortable with the setup. I always shoot from prone, so taking me out of the equation to eval the chassis can be difficult. My rifle comes in at 14.5 pounds, Leopold Mark IV 16X, steel rings, steel one-piece, 26-inch barrel, 300 Win Mag, bipod, Magpul MOE stock. Great chassis at almost half the cost of many others. The other reviews, excellent product. The products were highly quality, and my Remington 700 BDL 6mm Remington fit like a glove. Very easy and quick installation. I'm considering getting one for my Savage 12, low profile. The price point, it is $499 for the chassis itself, which, if you've looked at chassis, is a pretty good deal. The stock by itself is $279.99, and then the magazines are $39.99. And retail price is exactly the same. It didn't look like there were any cheaper ones anywhere I looked on the Google. So if you need it now, your best bet is Modular Driven Technologies. There is a link in the show notes to them. So our rating, the pros, it's very cost effective, as you can probably tell. There's models available for many different rifles. It uses the AR-15 stocks and pistol grips. It is lightweight. It uses the Accuracy International magazines. Their magazine works very well. It's got the swivel stud pre-installed. It has sling swivel cups in the stock itself. The push button adjustment on the stock is pretty nice because it's not just a little button. It's a fairly long button, easy to hit. It has a very large trigger guard for what it is. The cons, it's small forend. A lot of people might complain that it's pretty small. So you get, which I didn't explain and I'll explain now, you get a slight pinching of the hand, especially with an AR stock right here when you, let's see if I can turn this around. When you grab it, their stock's kind of rounded, but with a standard AR stock, it kind of pinches right in here a little bit. It has a short length of pull with their stock, which I didn't really care for, and you can't clean the bore without removing their stock or cleaning it from the front. But with all that said and all the products, I gave it an 8 because it is a good deal in the market. And there was something else I was going to add, and for the life of me, I do not remember. Oh, I was going to say if you look at that Ruger precision rifle that we just talked about, you can basically get this along with the Savage rifle for less, even though you have to put it together, than the Ruger precision rifle. You know, because the rifles around here, $400. You know, $500. You're looking a few bucks less than the Ruger precision rifle. Just so if you want something to compare it to. That, I think, is probably one of the longest reviews I've had to do. You guys got any questions?
Tony, you got anything?
Does it come in stealth gray?
No, black and FDE. So you get black, evil black, or dirt.
Does it come in disruptive gray?
No. No gray for Ryan or you.
Battleship gray?
The only thing I wanted to add was that the magazines actually, I don't own the chassis, however, I do have a Remington 700 and a 300 Blackout, so you would use a 223 magazine based on the 300 Blackout is a 223 parent case. Obviously, Magpul did not make a 5.56 PMAG AC yet for their Hunter chassis. So what I did is I went to Modular Driven Technologies and I bought a bunch of their polymer AC pattern 223 magazines, both in black and flat dark earth, and they feed the 300 Blackout beautifully in my Remington 700. So you guys, I don't know if you're ever going to run into that issue, but those magazines I have used. They are a little bit bulky, but it's a single stack feed, and they work just great. So I really like the magazines.
Well, that's good to know. I was thinking at one time on the show, like a year or so ago, we may have talked about one of the MDT chassis, but I can't remember if we did or not. I didn't go look it up.
Probably have.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think this modularness, the fact that this game can be snapped together like it is and use AR-15 components. I say this almost every show, but this is amazing stuff, especially if you read some of the older magazines. We talk about older American Rifleman, the Guns and Ammo, or even the hunting magazines from back in the day. If you wanted anything done to a firearm, you had to send it to a gunsmith. And if you wanted anything extensively done, you had to send it to a custom shop. Now you can just cruise Brownells and just snap pieces onto your precision rifle, yourself at home. So This is really the golden age. The only way it's going to get better is when people be able to use the printers at home. You know what I mean? 3D printing at home and make their own part.
Yeah,
but pretty much.
I will say that with the stock on there and hand loads, I was consistently shooting, 3/4-inch groups, 5-shot groups with it, with certain loads.
Oh yeah, and by the way, that's a real group, a 5-shot group.
Yeah, I don't shoot 3-shot groups because I always pull one, or at least I say I do.
Yeah, right. A real group is at least starts with a 5-shot group.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It just gives me something to compare to. I figure if it shoots under an inch, I'm doing my part because it probably shoots a whole lot better than I do.
Yeah, you know.
I shoot sub MOA one-shot groups.
Yep.
Nice.
Sweet. Well, thanks for that review.
Yeah.
So obviously we are not doing a tech gadget or app segment anymore, and we're just coming up on an hour and 15 minutes. I wanted to be a little bit shorter than this, so I will continually try and shorten the shows to at least an hour, give or take a little bit more. So listener feedback, there was actually a lot of feedback while I was away. So once again, I really appreciate everyone who has left us an iTunes review. And like I said, those two winners for April are going to be Matthew Dropko and Jeff Haddix. Jeff Haddix left a newer review that I haven't mentioned yet on the show, so I'll read these for you guys. So we got Gumby Rocks says, I've been enjoying the podcast for quite some time. The host and co-host are knowledgeable and entertaining. I like the gear reviews and find this podcast to be a lot of fun. Thanks for helping to get me through work. You're very welcome. Next one is from PK All Day 44. One of my favorite podcasts, like the roundtable format, listen to every episode. Then this next one from Jeff Haddix. This is fast becoming one of my favorite podcasts. The hosts give honest reviews and good-natured ribbing. Keep up the good work, guys. So Jeff, if you're listening, you need to contact me so I can send you some patch swag stuff. And Matthew, I think I've seen him on Facebook once, so I can get a hold of him. So the next review is Talker 2 Cents. It says, try it, you will like it. Very informative and great reviews. Thank you for that. This next review is one of my favorites. It's hilarious and it makes me wonder who did it. So this is from Minnesota Sublime. Does a MilDot Master always protect your front shirt pocket? Are you continually pushing your safety glasses up the bridge of your nose? Do you recite the names of parts in an AR lower parts kit to fall asleep at night? If you have answered yes to any of these questions, this Gun Nerd Cooperative is the place for you. Sit back and relax as this group of AR tools lead you through a menagerie of guns and gear with the meticulousness of a calculus professor. No gun or gear stone will be left unturned as you navigate the vast waters of the U.S. firearms marketplace. In-depth, complete, and helpful reviews of all the firearms crap you want but can't afford will no doubt send you into a crippling and painful deep cavern of unending indentured servitude with your creditors. This firearms odyssey is buttressed with talk of each podcast member's particular state law regarding the guns or gear at hand, and will no doubt leave you overjoyed by the probable fact that you do not live in the inglorious People's Republic of New Jersey.
So did you pay somebody to write this, Ryan?
No, I did not. I want to pay them. Holy crap. It is your duty to protect your Second Amendment rights, so start with this podcast and let your inner gun nerd freak flag fly. Was that Sean Fisher? But it says Minnesota Sublime, so it's like, well, who do I know from Minnesota that could have written such poetry? That they use all these 50-cent words, and then they say all the firearms crap you want. Like, crap was the only word that they could come up with. That's hilarious. That was probably that was good. That's probably the best thing I've read all week. So the next two reviews, not to be outshined, this one is Agent GRB says, Simon says, listen to this podcast. I wonder who that was. Guys sitting around talking guns and gear. Ryan and TJ can be a bit boring, but have good info. Tony and Chad keep it fun. Simon says train. Simon says listen to this podcast. I would take offense to the boring comment, but was that you, Tony? Because I'm just going to discredit that one if that was you.
I don't know how to get to iTunes. Sorry.
That was probably that guy that liked to bet something about your hat.
Maybe that was Sean. So then the next one is good show. Looking forward to new shows, and that's from Mark K90 or Mark K9. though. Thank you guys for all those reviews. It's awesome. It's hilarious. I'm trying to keep it more lively as we go on. Now that I know that there's so many of you guys that listen and actually like this podcast, I will continue to help make it better with the help of these knuckleheads that I got joining me every week.
Oh, wow. So, okay, going to make it better now that you know people paying attention to it. Thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah, no problem. So since you're talking right now, now's the time for you to plug your Second is for Everyone diversity shoots.
Second is for Everyone diversity shoot is coming up on June 9th at Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park, New Jersey, 6 p.m. This one's going to be fun, just like most of the others are fun. You get to fellowship, get to learn about the Second Amendment in the state of New Jersey. We're going to have a couple of different groups come out and just let you know what's going on in this state. We're going to have cool raffle. We're going to have cool prizes. We're going to have some great giveaways. Everybody gets a little something. I'm going to the NRA annual meeting to try to get more stuff from more suppliers and more vendors and more companies to make these more better for more longer. I really want to make these events just something exciting to go to, plus you learn. I want it to be educational and fun, and that's what I'm hoping for. And actually, my next move is to move to more than one range in the state, because there are a lot of people that just can't make it to the area the one I host is in. So, election is coming up this year. Even if you're not from Jersey, find out about your representatives and where they stand on your Second Amendment rights. If you don't know, join a 2A group in your state, and they'll gladly tell you who's pro 2A and who's not. Get on it, get busy. This is the time to make the move. All right, thanks a lot, guys, for allowing me to spout my political Second Amendment agenda every week, but it's really important if we want to keep this right alive.
Absolutely.
Yep. Hey, Ryan.
Yep.
You know, I'm gonna tout something too, since not everybody lives on the East Coast. So I'm gonna tout the local Saddle Butte machine gun shoot, which is coming up here in May. Well, here the 21st, 22nd, I believe. So it is. You can go to the Saddle Butte Machine Gun Shoot Facebook page, and it'll tell you all about it. It's here in Shed, Oregon. Usually we get tons of places, same type of deal. Pay some money to enter, rent guns, suppressors, all kinds of stuff like that. So, it's been going on now for like 20-some years or something. So, if you guys want to come out, it's on the West Coast as opposed to being back there in Pennsylvania.
Also known as the Best Coast. I totally want to go, but I've never been to NRA, so it's like I'm going to the NRA annual meeting instead of going to this. But maybe, hopefully next year.
You'll be getting married. It's always the third weekend in.
It's always the third weekend. Oh, shoot, can we get married down there?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they'd probably let you.
Sweet.
Hey guys, I just want to say, if you can get to a shoot and shoot some stuff you've never shot before, stop making up excuses and just go. It'll be fun. Yeah.
I'm going to make an active effort to go to more. Like, I'm going down to Oregon for, the next time there's a bullpup shoot, I'll bring the Tavor down, or next time there's some kind of thing, I'll try it, and my hardest to make it down there, since now it's technically easier, since I'm on the I-5 corridor to shoot down there.
Yeah, you're like 4 hours closer.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
It really does. Because being in Jersey, I'm around a lot of different things, but when it comes to firearms-related stuff, you actually have to make it happen. I'm going to volunteer, I think it's this coming Sunday, at a Kids 22 shoot. And it's at a range in Jersey that somehow it's right off a parkway, but it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like, how do you have something this close to a main thoroughfare in the middle of nowhere? But you got to make 2A events happen. You got to help it grow. And truthfully, just have fun, man. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
So one of the things it's about is having fun. On your butt and being on Facebook or, talking smack in, like, forums, and get out and shoot. Quit BSing. Get out and shoot. Do some pew-pew and actually do something instead of just talk about it.
Yep. Put your money where your mouth is, and it's really worth the money. I mean, what were the prices for the like? We paid for the ammo. You either pay for the ammo, and they try not to put the screws to you too much, or you pay for the magazine. So like a fully loaded 30-round magazine, might be like $5. But the fact that we discussed this while we were over there. But whatever they charge you, like they try and build in the money it's going to cost to like change out a barrel on their BAR or to upkeep their fully automatic weapon that you're getting to shoot and then not having to pay for any of the maintenance. So whatever the ammo fee is, don't think of it as, oh man, I can get a box of ammo at Joe Bob's gun shop for way less than that. No, you're getting to shoot someone else's gun and not have the responsibility to clean it or maintain it. So don't complain. Just thank the man, pay for the ammo, and shoot, and you will get a smile on your face. I guarantee it.
And especially some of the stuff that you're just never going to see. You know what I mean? You're not going to see a water-cooled, belt-fed Maxim machine gun somewhere.
Or like here, I've shot a Lottie because they had one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I got a chance to shoot a Lottie, I'm shooting a Lottie.
Yeah.
Hank
got to shoot a titanium Beretta 93R. What are the Select Fire Berettas?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that is something that that's a once in a lifetime story that you'll be telling your kids about.
Yep, and I got video of me doing it, and it's awesome. 4,500 people liked it on Instagram.
I'm gonna go resend mine.
Dude, it was really great. Only because I didn't even know they had it there. I wasn't gonna go, you know what I mean, to the machine gun section. And then I got to shoot something that I've always read about, but never even thought I'd ever see. Yeah. Why not? And it was what, $25 for the weekend?
Yeah, really cheap compared to the other things that your wife might drag you to.
Yeah. A winery. Pumpkin picking.
Wine tastings are way more expensive.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just under an hour and 30 minutes. That's awesome. I'm hoping to shorten up even more as we go on, but a lot of information we wanted to give you guys this week, so thanks for bearing with us. Everyone have a great week. Shoot safe. If you want to send me a message, gungearreview@gmail.com is the email address. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review, but more importantly, go to the firearmsinsider.tv or firearmsradio.tv websites and leave a comment on one of the reviews or leave a comment on the show notes for the Gun and Gear Review podcast. That'll enter you in to win some Patriot Patch swag. I'll give that to 2 winners a month. And then check out all the other shows while you're there on the Firearms Radio Network website, and be sure to visit the Firearms Insider anyway for the reviews and industry coverage. So thanks, guys, for joining me this week.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. We'll catch you on the next one. Signing out.